Okay, so far we have learned we have this type of equation. Let's say 2x plus 3 is equal to 5, or we had something like that, 3x minus 5 is equal to 7 minus x. This type of equation, we knew how to solve them. So these equations have one variable x, not two variables or three variables. But we did not solve the equation in this format, like ratio of two expressions is equal to some number or some fractional value. So now what we have to do to solve this one is very simple. What you have to do, okay, this is integer, so divide by 1 and apply the cross multiplication. This means the 1 you have to multiply to this expression and 6 you have to multiply to this expression. Now multiply that. So I will multiply 1 to this, that will give me 3x minus 5, and then 6 multiplied to x minus 7. One thing, from this expression you can say, okay, x should not be equal to 7, because if x is equal to 7, this will become divide by 0 issue, okay, and we don't want to have that. That's why first thing you can say, from this equation it looks like x should not be equal to 7. So now we have to find a value which is not equal to 7, that we can solve using the given equation. But instantly, so some of the questions they might ask you, this is the equation, tell me what should not be the value of x. You can instantly say, okay, x should not be equal to 7. If you are asked to solve the equation, then you have to proceed further. But if it's just asking you the value that should not be the value of x, you can say, okay, x should not be equal to 0, because it gives you divide by 0 problem. So x should not be equal to 7. Now apply the cross multiplication. You got this 3x minus 5 is equal to 6x minus 7. So 3x minus 5 is equal to, multiply 6 to both, 6x minus 42. And then I'll bring all the terms containing comprising x, like this term has x, this term has x. So I'll bring the 6x to the left hand side as we were solving earlier. So 3x minus 6x, and this 6x came to this side, so the sign of 6x will change. The coefficient of x here is 6. When you brought it to the left hand side, the coefficient will become minus 6. The sign will change. Similarly, here minus 42, here minus 5, and when you change the side, you will have to change the sign, so it became plus 5. Now 3x minus 6x is minus 3x, and minus 42 plus 5 minus 37, correct? So x will be equal to minus 37 divided by minus 3, which is 37 by 3. So if you see this type of equation, it's very, very simple. Now let's say instead of 1 here, if you have something else, let's say 5 by 3, you have to do the same thing, to the cross multiplication, and you will find the equation in the simpler form. This will be multiplied to 3, and 5 will be multiplied to x minus 7. And as earlier we discussed that x should not be equal to 7, because when x is equal to 7, this will become divide by 0 problem. So 9x minus 15 is equal to 5x minus 35, and then this will become 9x, and you bring 5x to this side, left hand side, you have to change the sign. Similarly here, minus 35, you are bringing 15 to the right side, so you have to change the sign. It will become 15, and this became 4x is equal to Oh, minus 20. Correct? Which means x is equal to minus 20 divided by 4, which is minus 5. Okay? So there is no difference between this type of equation or the one you already had in simpler form. You can do that. So you have to just apply the cross multiplication and make sure that if you have a variable as denominator, you have to make sure that you are not getting a value that will make it divide by 0 problem. So denominator should not be equal to 0. So now you understood this. Now let's think about what if you have inequality. Okay. So let's say x minus 3 is less than 7. This is very simple. Okay. So what you have to do, you add minus 3 to the both sides, because your goal is to keep only x on the left hand side and all the constant on the right hand side. So this has minus 3. You can just move these two to the right hand side. So, and when you move this to the right hand side, the sign will change, which is equal to 10. So it means x is less than 10. Okay. Now take another example. Minus 2 times x plus 5 is greater than minus 10. Okay. This one, this was the first inequality, this is second inequality. Now here, remember one thing. What we have to do, as we discussed earlier, that this minus 2 will have to go to the right hand side. Since it's a multiplication sign here, so that will become division sign. Correct? That was one thing that we were doing with the equation. In inequality, you have to remember one more fact. If you are dividing or multiplying by a negative number, what you have to do? You have to change the direction of the inequality. So let's say here, I'm dividing minus 10 by minus 2. So what will happen? X plus 5, do you think it's correct? No, it's not correct. We taught that if we are dividing or multiplying by a negative number, then the direction of the inequality will change. So this will become less than minus 10 divided by minus 2. Minus 10 divided by minus 2 is 5, which means x plus 5 is less than 5. Now, so x will be 5 minus 5, which is x less than 0. Now let's try. Did we get the correct answer or not? To prove that, let's try some number. So here, what we found, x should be less than 0. Let's try value x greater than 1. Sorry, greater than 0. So when x is equal to 1. So minus 2, x is 1 plus 5, which is greater than minus 10. So minus 2 times 6. So this will be minus 2 times 6 will be minus 12, greater than minus 10. Is it correct? Minus 12 greater than minus 10? No. Minus 10 is greater than minus 12. Yeah. This is 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Somewhere here minus 10 and here minus 12. And here 1, 2, 3. So what we learned? The number which are on the right hand side are bigger than the number on the left hand side. So minus 12 is on the left hand side and minus 10 is on the right hand side. So this is wrong. And hence the answer we got, x should be less than 0. We proved here. Now let's try some value where x is less than 0. So x less than 0, let's try x is equal to -1. So this side will be -2, -1 plus 5 greater or equal -10. So this will be -2, this 4, so -8 is greater than -10. It is correct. -8 greater than -10. Yes, because -8 is on the right hand side of -10. So you solve this equation. If you want to try like whether you got the correct answer or not, what you can do, you can try some values the way we did here. X, since it was x less than 0, we tried x equal to 1 and x equal to -1, and we saw when we have value greater than 0, this inequality does not hold. When we have x less than 0, this inequality holds. That means our solution is correct. So this is one example. Let's try something else. When we have the ratio and then inequality. So 2x minus 5 and x minus 3 is less than, let's say, let's say 2. We don't know. It may be some integer. So this is the inequality that we have to solve. Like what should be the value of x. What we learned just a few minutes ago, that if you multiply or divide by any number, what you have to do, when you multiply or divide by a negative number, you have to change the direction of the inequality. When you are multiplying or dividing by a positive number, you don't have to change the inequality. Now see here, what we have as a denominator, x minus 3, okay? This is not a constant. This is a variable. We don't know the value of x. X can be any value, but this is, here again we are going to apply the same concept, cross multiplication, okay? 1 will be multiplied to this, and x minus 3 to multiply to 2. So 1 is a positive number. When we multiply 1 to 2x minus 5, the direction will not change. But we don't know whether it's x minus 3 is positive or x minus 3 is negative. Do we know? No, we don't know. So we have to take both scenarios. So let's say when x, first thing here, x should not be equal to 3. Okay? Just by looking at the inequality, you have to say, you can say that x is not equal to 3 because we don't want to have divide by 0 problem. Okay? So there are two scenarios now. This can be a positive number, this can be a negative number. Let's say x minus 3 is greater than 0. Greater than 0 means a positive number. Now, since this is a positive number, what we can do, 2x minus 5 is less than 2 times x minus 3. We don't have to change the direction of inequality because we assume that x minus 3 is greater than 0. Means x minus 3 is a positive number. So that's why we did not change the direction of inequality. Remember this one. When you are dividing or multiplying by a negative number, then only you have to change the direction of the inequality. But when you are dividing or multiplying by a positive number, you don't have to change the direction of inequality. So here x minus 3 is greater than 0. That's why we did not change the direction. Now let's solve this one. 2x minus 5 is less than 2x minus 6. Okay. Oh, what happened? Okay, I think we should select some other number. Okay. Let's try here. Five. Okay. So let's continue here. So x should not be equal to 3. That's one thing. Now assume when x minus 3 is greater, x minus 3 is greater than 0, means x minus 3 is positive. So 2x minus 5 is less than 5 times x minus 3. Since this is positive, we did not change the direction. So 2x minus 5 is less than 5x minus 15. Okay. Now I'll bring 5x to the left hand side and this constant to the right hand side. So 2x minus 5x is less than minus 15 plus 5, correct? I hope I'm not making a mistake here. So this will be minus 3x less than minus 10. Okay, now here again, look at the board. So minus 3x is less than minus 10. What we have to do? We have to divide by minus 3. And divide by minus 3 means we have to again change the direction. Minus 10 divided by minus 3, which means x greater than 10 by 3. Okay, what you had here, x minus 3 is greater than 0, which implies that x should be greater than 3, correct? This one. And here what you found? 3.33, okay? So which is true. With this condition, x should be greater than 3, and you found that x is greater than 3.33. So this is one solution, x greater than 3. Now, second condition. When x minus 3 is negative number, which means what you can say, x is less than 3, correct? When x minus 3 is less than 0, which means x is less than 3. Now, since it's a negative number, I will do the cross multiplication, but I have to change the direction of the inequality. So here it was less than, now it will become greater than. So 5x minus 3. 2x minus 5 is greater than 5x minus 15. 2x minus 5x greater than minus 15 plus 5, which means minus 3x is greater than minus 10. I have to do the same thing because I am dividing by minus 3. So change the direction. Minus 10 by minus 3, which means x is less than 3.33. Here, what was the condition? X should be less than 3, and you found x should be less than 3.33. So it satisfies this condition. So you have now two values. So x should be greater than 10 by 3 or x should be less than 10 by 3. Both of these values will satisfy this inequality. Now let's try some examples, see if it's correct or wrong. So x is greater than 10 by 3, so let's take x is equal to 4. Okay, so 4, if I put 4 here, 8 minus 5 divided by 4 minus 3. So 3 divided by 1, which is 3. 3 is less than 5, correct. If I take 10 less than 10 by 3, let's take minus 5. Okay, minus 5. Because 10 less than 10 by 3 minus 5. So minus 5. Minus 5 times 2 minus 10. Minus 5. Minus 5. Minus 3. So this became minus 15 and this became minus 8. So which is less than 5. Correct? So both the values are satisfying this inequality. So remember, from this problem, what did you learn? That if you have some variable as denominator, you have to think about two conditions. One, what if this expression is greater than 0? What if this expression is less than 0? Basically, this expression is positive or negative. Because since we don't know the value of this expression, we have to consider both the scenario. You cannot skip one of the scenarios, otherwise you will get the wrong answer. And the reason why we are considering both the scenario, because of inequality. We learned that if we multiply or divide by a negative number, the direction of inequality changes. If you are multiplying or dividing a positive number, the direction does not change. So remember everything? Okay. Let's not solve another problem. I'll give you some homework. Okay.